I feel like the same skills that case officers use are skills that are important for parenting as well. So one of those is just being a good listener, right? And being a good listener in the context of being able to assess the right time. So a case officer is trying to assess the right time for a pitch, right? To pitch to the person like, hey, I want you to spy for me, right?
It's a big pitch. It's a big pitch.
And it's a big pitch. So it takes lots of time where you're listening to them and putting time into them until you get to that point where you assess that they're comfortable with you and they're open with you, right? With kids, it's the same thing. You need to spend all this time listening to them and assessing along the way their openness to you so you can figure out that right moment of like, we're going to have the talk today.
So, and let's be clear, because, you know, being a good listener in culture, in pop culture, that means something completely different than what we're talking about.
Right. It's not passive.
It's not empathetic. You're not trying to be a good listener so you can be a good person. You're not trying to be a good listener so you can be a good friend. In this case, we're not trying to be good listeners so we can be good parents. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to be proactive listeners so that we can find the right time to introduce a difficult concept, a difficult topic.
Yeah.
It's very operationally driven, and that's how case officers use it, right? Good listener, I mean, that's something you'll get from a yoga class. You'll get that from like an influencer online who's trying to sell hair products.
And
who knows what?
It could apply to the other things, but definitely in this context, the hard conversation context, it is not those things.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a process by which you listen so that you can assess, to your point.
Yeah.
You can gain enough evidence, verbal evidence, nonverbal evidence, life experience, context. You can assess when is the right time to bring up a topic. And it's funny because even now, we're talking about when to bring up the topic of sex with our 10-year-old homeschooled son.
Yeah.
But the reason we're having this conversation is not because of him. No. It's because of his 6-year-old sister who makes sex jokes like she's a 35-year-old man. Right? So it's interesting because we're assessing for one person, but we know that this train is coming.
Yeah.
But we don't, not because of him. If we were to just assess from him, it's years out.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about sex. He doesn't show much of an interest in sex. He still thinks kissing is gross.
Yeah.
Right? He talks about wanting to marry a nice girl and have a family and have kids and be a dad himself. So there's certainly evidence that he's a heterosexual kid.
Yeah.
But it's not like he talks about his sexuality at all.
No.
It is interesting. Like, is it going to happen all at once? Like, is it going to be 10-year-old is cute and 11 years old is cute and 12-year-old is what? Now we're talking to like a horn dog. Like, what's it going to be like?
Yeah, exactly.
If you like this short clip, make sure you click here to see the next clip or here to see the full podcast episode.